Hello, welcome to episode 130 of Daryl Show Your Work. All right, so I want to do a quick video here. This is not going to be a very long one, but in my previous video, I mentioned how FTP was an insecure protocol, and that's ultimately is the attack vector that I use to be able to deface the website that I targeted in my previous video. All right, so and I can also think the thing I kept saying is that well, a better solution is the SSH, but I'm going to show you how that may not always be the case and how SSH can be just as vulnerable if a poor password policy is being used. So just because SSH is a better is more secure, and because it uses encryption in its communication, doesn't mean that it still can't be taken advantage of as an attack vector if this authentication is not protected with a strong password, hence having some defense in depth. So anyway, before I get started, since I am doing some red teaming here, some offensive security, I'm going to preface this video by saying that this is for research, ethical, and educational purposes only, and that any malicious actions that may directly or indirectly come from someone watching my video, I do not take responsibility for, nor do I condone. All right, so I've done some pre-recording discovery here, and our target currently being hosted at 10.3.24.205. All right, so I'm going to actually be targeting the OpenSSH service in this video. And what OpenSSH is, it's an free open source implementation of the SSH protocol, and it's actually a suite of tools that provides a secure network communication, mostly for remote login and file transfers. Hence why I said it's a better substitute for FTP, which is a clear text legacy file transfer protocol. So SSH is considered a replacement of the legacy protocols of FTP and also Telnet. All right, so I'm just going to show how SSH though can still be exploited here. And so the first thing that I'm going to do is let's copy the target IP, and I'm actually going to run an nmap scan to get sense. So let's do a service scan and just do a script scan. And what actually I meant to mention this yesterday. What a script scan is, it takes about a few of the nmap scripting engine scripts by default and runs some of those automated scans on it. And I'll jump into that in my next video as far as those specific scans that it conducts from the nmap scripting engine. But this when you put -sc, it just uses some of the from some of the nmap scripting engine scripts to run different sorts of scans on it. But I'll touch on that in my next video. But just know that that's what, when you put sc, that's what that is. And then I'm gonna specify the port here, which I'm going to target specifically port 22, since that is the default port of SSH. All right, and then I want to give it my target IP address. All right, so let's run that. All right, so we can see that port 22 is open and is indeed running the SSH protocol, and the service that's running on it is OpenSSH, and looks like it's version 7.1. All right, so the first thing that I want to do is remember last video I was able to find two accounts. So I was able to find an account named Vagrant and an account named Administrator. So coming into this, and this time I'm going to do I want to do I'm going to do a brute force dictionary attack, but this time I'm going to do one where the username is known. All right, so assuming that we know that Vagrant exists, all right, even in this scenario the Vagrant account exists, I'm going to run I'm going to run a brute force just to try to find the password for that account. And then I said in my previous video as well that I wanted to show that we don't have to necessarily use the specific passwords a word list, but we could use a user's word list or any word list that we wanted to run against against the target host to try to get the credentials that we're looking to get. So I'm gonna show an example of that. All right, so let's get Hydra started. And because I know the username here, I'm going to put dash lowercase l. All right, and then I'm going to specify the user, which is vagrant. All right, and then I'm going to put dash uppercase p, and now I'm going to specify the directory of the word list that I want to use, which is located in user share word lists metasploit. All right, the name of that word list is Unix users. All right, so this time I'm going to use the users word list, which I would usually run against to try to find the actual usernames, but this time I'm gonna use it to try to find the password. All right, and I'm gonna show you it works just the same or just as good as the passwords txt word list. All right, and then I have to specify here the proto. I specify for then excuse me the target address here, and then I have to put the protocol, which is it's SSH. So let's get that running. All right, and looks like we got the same username and password combination. So as you can see, just that fast, it works just as well as the Unix underscore passwords list. All right, so I wanted to show that and wanted to use that as a method to find our username or passwords and in order to try to circumvent SSH. So let's move this over here. All right, there we go. Okay. All right, so the next thing that I want to do is I want to try to use these credentials to make a to try to authenticate using SSH here into the target host. So I'm gonna put SSH and vagrant as the username at, then give it my target host's IP address. All right, and then hit enter, and it should ask me for the password. I have to tell it yes right here. All right, then I'm gonna give it the vagrant password. All right, bam, I'm in. So it looks like I actually have a born again shell script, which is weird because since this is if we go back up here, did I do a okay, I did. I don't look like I did an OS scan here, but I believe that this may be a Windows machine. I don't have any proof of it, but um, I believe that it is. All right. So anyway, some things that I can do here to do some further enumerations to see PWD to see what my current directory is. All right, we can see that it's C drive C users vagrant. All right, so let's say I wanted to I know a way I could prove that this is a Windows machine. Let's see if I do this. This should kick me out of the shell session and throw me into CMD. So if I do a bash, bin bash dash I, that usually establishes a bash session. But if I'm already using the shell session and this is a Windows system, it should kick me out of it. So let's see. Bam. So we can see that. There we go. So that tells the story right there. All right. So it shows that we're using Microsoft Windows version 6.1. So it doesn't necessarily give me an operating system, but it does let me know that I am using a Microsoft Windows command line here. All right, so I can also do whoami. All right, we can see that I'm vagrant. All right, so given that this says vagrant 2008 revision 2, more than likely I'm using Microsoft Server 2008 revision 2. So I'm gonna just I'm gonna just guess that, but I'm gonna say dir. All right. Let's see. Then so we had that's our directory here. Nothing real interesting in the directory, and let's see if I wanted to see all the users on this machine. So I'm gonna say net user. All right. So we got quite a few Star Wars characters again that use this machine as well. Now, if I wanted to see my level of privileges on this machine, I could say whoami / priv. All right. So these are all my privileges, which looks like I only actually have a few enabled. All right, so um I'm not going to do it in this video, but I would just need to basically elevate my privileges here to enable a lot of these privileges, and or just switch to the administrative account, which which already has most of these enabled, or I can just enable them on the vagrant account with the administrator. All right, then let's do system info here to get some of the system information. All right, so scrolling up here. All right, so I was right. Okay, so the operating system is Windows Server 2008 revision 2. All right, and then we can see some other information here. Of course, Microsoft being a manufacturer, and then the OS build, and then we can also see that actually it appears to be a EC2 instance. All right, so this is a virtual instance running on a Amazon or AWS cloud. All right, so that's very interesting to know, and just basically just gives me just basic information about the system here. All right, so that brings me to the end of my video. Basically, I just want to follow up and show how SSH is just as vulnerable to being compromised as FTP. Because again, if you have that weak password policy, I could just simply use a cracking tool like Hydra, or brute force tool, excuse me, like Hydra, and easily have your password guessed in a matter of seconds, and then make a authentication with legitimate credentials, and then it just completely circumvents the security of SSH. All right, and then I now have access to your assets here within your environment. So please like, subscribe, and share. Most importantly, show your work. Until next time, take care of yourself